Hello Ability Power Gamers, and welcome back to another short guide video. We're still looking at the dungeons of World of Warcraft, and this week we're headed to Scarlet Halls. Scarlet Halls' physical entrance is located in Terraceful Glades, near the Scarlet Monastery, but you can queue for the dungeon levels 26 through 36 as Horde or Alliance. There's also quests at the very beginning, available for Horde and Alliance. There are barrels that you can pick up when you're getting your quest. We're using this hall to distract dogs, but as you can see, my party is just rolling through it without any problems. This dungeon actually has lots of little gimmicky things, or what I call mechanic-y quests, or areas. A perfect example is this first courtyard. The first courtyard area, 3 members of your party need to pick up a shield. The other 2 people can stand behind the people with shields and just walk behind to avoid taking blasts from the mobs at the end of the courtyard. One thing to be aware of, there's going to be fire on the ground, so you're going to have to move. You can't just go in a straight line the whole way. Another thing to be aware of, if you're the healer, a lot of damage will come in during this walk, so be sure to heal people up as soon as you can and as often as you can. When you make it to the other end of the courtyard, you're greeted by a bunch of mobs. They're not elite and they're easy to deal with. Once the mobs are dead, the doors open to the next area. And we're at our first boss, Houndmaster Braun. Houndmaster Braun has a few abilities. He has piercing throw. He can throw knives at an enemy, and everyone in the path of the knife will have a bloody mess debuff, which damages him. Another thing he does is randomly leaps at an enemy and whirls around. When he does this, move out of the area quickly. As you can see, he's also calling dogs every time he hits 90, 80, 70, and 60% health. When you get him down to 1%, you have won. Even though you can't keep attacking him, his dogs actually turn on him and finish him off and then clear a path until you get to the next hallway, which has lots of groups of mobs. And as you can see, some are shooting cannonballs at my group. Where the cannonball's gonna hit will be highlighted on the ground by a glowing circle. If it's under you, move out of it to avoid taking damage. More cannons are here shooting out. Same as before, if there's a yellow glowing circle under you, just move out of the way and you'll avoid taking the damage. As you can see, that little area and the stairs here, lots of line of sight if you're a healer. Make sure to keep up with your tank. Now we're headed to our second boss, Armsmaster Harlan. If you're ranged or a healer, you can actually stand up at the top area where I'm standing and DPS or heal as needed, without being down at the boss. There's a reason why this is desirable. The boss will do a heroic leap. The boss will use call for help, and ads will come in while you're fighting. But the main reason you want to be at the top is for this ability. It's called Blades of Light. He will heroic leap to the center of the room and start spinning. When he does, he'll spin around his area, up the stairs, and around the whole upper half. If you get hit, you will take tons of damage. You want to avoid it. He'll come back down the steps. As you can see, 2 of our party members died. And ads are coming too. So you need to get to your tank if ads are on you as quickly as you can. And avoid the blades of light. Another thing he will do is called Dragon's Reach. He'll do 80% more melee damage to all targets in front of him. So stay behind him as much as you can during the fight. The main thing to be concerned with though are the ads coming in and the blades of light. Make sure you avoid it. If you're ranged or hitter, as you can see, I stood up on the edge until he was coming toward me and then jumped down. That way you can avoid getting hit by it. One thing to watch out for with this one, most tanks and bugs like to chain for this area, and as you can see, you're having to make turns. There's pillars, lots going on, so try to keep up with your tank. The trash in this hall is really dangerous too. If you notice these big red bubbles, they reduce the damage taken to allies by 90%, I think it is. Which means you're going to have a horrible time killing the mobs. The reason that this is even more, important to point out are the Scarlet Pupils are putting a stacking debuff on the tank every time they punch him. It's horrible to heal through. So the mobs in that hall need to be taken out really quick and kept out of the red bubbles. And now we are at the last boss, Flame Weaver Kobler. The Flame Weaver has a lot of different things he does. He has a volley that's interruptible that unleashes a barrage of fireballs. The ability you see here is called Book Burner. When he does Book Burner, he will target one of the bookcases around him, set it on fire. Any enemy in that range, which would be your party, is going to take a ton of damage if you stand in it, so stay away from the burning books. The other ability he just did is called Greater Dragon's Breath. When he starts casting that one, he's going to spin in a circle and spin to put fire around the room. Just run around the boss to an area he's already casted it and you'll be safe. The Fire Blast Volley, which does a barrage of fireballs, and Pyroblast are both interruptible. Everything else you'll have to work to avoid. And that's Scarlet Halls. You can turn your quest in at the end without having to teleport out and in. And it took my group about 12 minutes to clear the whole thing. So fatigue really shouldn't be an issue. Scarlet Halls isn't that bad of a dungeon to run, except for all the little mechanic-y trash along the way. The first courtyard is chaos with the archers shooting fire at you and you having to navigate through it with the shields. The cannons shooting at you and you having to avoid the area they're hitting. And the last, before the last boss, the trash getting to him can be awful. So there's lots of mechanic-y things. The bosses have a lot of things you have to watch out for, but as long as you're aware of what you need to move out of, it's not that bad of a dungeon. It's really short, but don't take my word for it. Head out to the Scarlet Halls and let me know what you think in the comments below. If you have any tips or tricks you want to share, leave those too. As always, if you want to see more of this type of content, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter. And we'll see you next time on Ability Powered.